What up? Quarterfinal reaction. Semifinals start tomorrow. Want to get a reaction now. The four highest ranked teams into the semifinals. The four highest ranked teams, which doesn't get mentioned up, but actually, in the draw, FIFA seed them this way. So looks like, oh no, I guess FIFA's decision to separate all these teams worked out. I don't know, but we're in for some absolute blockbusters over the next few days. But I want to recap all the action from the quarterfinals, and yeah, let me get straight into it. So. Hold on, sorry. All right. Like I said, tomorrow is France, Spain, and then the following day is England, Argentina. Let's start off with France versus Morocco. France, again, like I said in my previous video, I still think they're the clear favorite for this tournament. I don't really see a way that anyone really knocks them off their perch in terms of them being the best team in this tournament. They play the best football. I think they've won in multiple different ways, multiple different styles. They've been proven so far. And I think this game against Morocco, I would say for them it was pretty straightforward. Morocco in this game, obviously Saibari was a huge loss. And I think in the first half, you did see Morocco frustrate France a little bit. I mean, look, France won a penalty through Mbappe. Mbappe missed it, saved by Bono. I think that's a bit on the referee, though, or the refereeing team, rather, for taking so long to confirm the decision, because I think it was a pretty straightforward penalty. You looked at 1-2 replays, and that's a penalty. I don't know why it took 3-4 minutes. For Mbappe to take the penalty, but regardless, France went to halftime. And I think Morocco, again, their game plan, how much they can really push, especially the fullbacks up, because they've been crucial, like Hakimi, Mazraoui, I think have had good tournaments. And I think without Saibari as a focal point, I think you're kind of lacking, where are the goals coming from? And as I said in my prediction for the quarterfinals, or at least my loose prediction of the quarterfinals, I said at the end of the day, as good as Morocco are as a team, how you would separate this is, one, you're relying on, Brahim Diaz, Saibiri, and El Khanous versus Mbappe and Dembele Elise. Like, who is more likely to make the difference? Ultimately, at the end of the day, in this tournament, in the World Cup historically, big players rise to the occasion. They are the difference makers. And it was through Mbappe. He scored an absolutely spectacular goal to break the deadlock. Again, like I said, this is what big players do. This is Mbappe's tournament. This is his tournament. And who knows where he'll lie at the end of this tournament in terms of his legacy in the World Cup and potentially going down as the greatest World Cup player ever. But again, staying on topic, Dembele, 6 minutes later, adds a second. At that point, Morocco, out of answers, not enough to respond to France, and they march on to the semifinal. And one thing I do want to say about France is, although the attackers have been stealing the spotlight, I just want to give a massive shout out to, I think, both their midfield and defense. I think Manu Kone has been extremely impressive ever since he's come in for Tchouaméni, since Tchouaméni got injured, and Rabiot has been ever so reliable this tournament. Someone who's been scapegoated many times, just because Deschamps favors him. And then the two center backs, especially for France, I shout out Saliba in the group stage. I thought he was the best defender so far, but on top of that, Upamecano as well has also been fantastic this tournament, and they've yet to concede a goal in the knockout stage. And I think the matchup against Spain, who we'll get into, will be fascinating. But France move on to the semifinals. And going back to Spain, who defeated Belgium 2-1. Yeah, again, it's Marino who makes the difference. Off the bench, scores late on to send Belgium home. Now, Spain opened the scoring through Fabian Ruiz, and at this point, I think with Spain, you'd expect a very controlled game. And Belgium, who, although they were I keep repeating this, they were my pick for a dark horse team, and I thought even after the U.S. game, they're getting slightly overrated again. They did well to respond. I give them huge credit for staying in this game. And it was up until Courtois had to come off, forced off with the injury. And Lemons came in, spills the ball, had an absolute howler. I think it might be his debut for Belgium in general, but definitely his World Cup debut. One definitely to forget for him, but for Spain, Michael Merino probably has the best goal-scoring instinct of any Spanish player on the team. Finds the back end net, and Belgium just don't have enough to respond, and Spain just got too much for them. Now, Yamal, he said here, I think in the post-match, he also gave man of the match. I thought Yamal in this game was disappointing. You have to be up to speed. Going into this tournament, I kind of question Yamal in terms of, where his fitness level would be, not his quality as a player. Obviously, we all are aware of the potential that he can play to, but in terms of coming off a hamstring injury, being injured for the last 2 months of the season, can't really get up to speed. It seems like still we've yet to see a vintage Yamal. I say vintage, he's 18. I think he's just turned 19. Yamal performance. Or performance we know that he's capable of delivering, as we've seen in the Champions League and the Liga for Barcelona. Again, in the matchup against France, for me, if Yamal everything, especially in this attack, runs through Yamal. So just to give you a bit of my preview in terms of how I think France and Spain will match up. Again, I think France have really shown their weaknesses. And the Spanish team I still think there's questions of the attack. Baena, for me, I think he's been the weakest link of the attack. I don't really know what he offers. I know he scored against Uruguay and provided the assists again. I think assists against Austria. Well, like I said, he's not really natural number 9, whereas his quality be Dani Olmo. As talented as he is, I do think his decision making can be poor at times. And I still, he's not ever so consistent player. So everything has to go through Yamal. And in order to beat this France super team, I would say everything has to, he has to be on it. He has to take over the game. Now, where Spain could have an advantage is through Rodri, who yesterday absolutely ran the show against Portugal as well. Has been fantastic this tournament, reaching levels, that he was playing at before his ACL. That's an advantage Spain will have to take care of. They definitely have, I think, an advantage in midfield with him. And Spain at the back, also been fantastic defensively this tournament. Laporte and Kubarsi have been ever so solid. We got Simon, again, like I said, a lot of questions about the goalkeeper going into this tournament, but I think he's been all right. Some would argue maybe he should save the Belgian goal, but I don't think he's made any howlers since, because this is the first goal Spain can see in the tournament. But we'll see if that decision costs them against France. So moving on to the other side of the bracket. Oh, I should go the other way. You have England, Argentina, and England dispatched Norway. Again, Norway opened scoring through Schneiderlip, who puts in a cross that turns into a hell of a shot. Catches Pickford out. Norway up 1-0, and then Norway has a chance to go up 2-0. Soroth Holland breaking through on goal. I don't know what Soroth is thinking. I'm gonna be real. I don't care. He's had a terrible tournament so far off the right wing. I don't know why the manager keeps persisting with Soroth on right wing. It's not like Soroth is some type of superstar and you have to wedge him into his team. Clearly, again, Schneiderlip got the start here. Nusa's been starting every single game for Norway, barred the game where they rotated against France. Off the left, I don't know why Nusa's immediately pulled out the team. Nusa hasn't been great, but Nusa's done more to Soroth, and I don't know why Soroth is such a reliable, such a consistent starter. And against 2v1, when you have the best finisher in the world as your teammate, and you can slip him in one-on-one against goal, and you go yourself, it's a baffling decision. But regardless, it's this guy again, Jude Bellingham, who keeps turning up for England, and I still cannot believe the English media had a campaign against him to get him out of the team, not even get him called up to the World Cup. It baffles me. And even after this game, they're spewing him against Bellingham versus Tuchel. Tuchel, I'll dive into a little bit more as I just chronologically go through each moment of the game. But Bellingham, again, pops through with a goal. I think the Norway defenders have to close him down sooner, but that's what he does. Pops up, big moment player, one to step up. And throughout the 90 minutes, Norway get a goal disallowed. And I didn't even mention, actually, with the goal, the first goal Bellingham scored. The ball hit the wire, but you don't get, nothing was said about that, which is an interesting choice. But I guess it's a bit of luck for England, and something that wasn't observed live. But regardless, moving on to the game, Norway get a goal disallowed off a corner. Holland, Nina found Anderson, correct decision. In my opinion, in extra time, Nyland spills the ball. Bellingham's there again. Again, that's why I'm saying this guy, this is why we saw it with him, his first season at Madrid. The amount of time, the goals he scores, they aren't the prettiest, even against Mexico, but he's always there. He has a knack for scoring goals. It's funny to say, Marino has the same thing, but Bellingham does it to the most elite level possible. He smells the blood. He knows where the ball's going to land. It's not a coincidence that he's, bagging a brace. He's bagging goals for England in the most crucial moments of the games. He's been fantastic this World Cup. And Norway, they just run out of steam. England's strength, obviously they have guys off the bench they can bring on as soon as with Norway. Obviously a drop off in quality. Holland, not his best game, to say the least. But with Norway, definitely a campaign to be proud of. I thought they actually were better than England over the course of 90 minutes, especially in the second half. But, England just had the extra bit of quality to just get past Norway. And it's Jude Bellingham again. And that, like I said, after the game, Bellingham came on an interview and just said it was the mentality. And Tuchel came out and said, England didn't play that well, and they're trying to pit each other against them, which is, what the media does. But like I said, there's nothing to take away from it. Yes, England didn't play well, and they will have to seriously other performances if they, want to win against Argentina, and eventually, if they progress, the winner of France or Spain. And, I do give a lot of credit to this England team and their mentality, because I do think the games they've played, although they have not played well, and I think that is an issue and a concern for Tuchel and England. I think the mentality in this team, I think it's in the right place. Again, come back from Congo, not panic. Kane, someone to step up like him. The Azteca, I think that game, one of the best England performances in World Cup history. Again, just like the resilience and the mental fortitude. The Azteca roaring, being down a man, they get past this game, and then again in this Norway game, and to not be stunned by the Norway scoring a freakish goal and having the grit to come back into this game, even though it wasn't the best England performance, definitely had the mental edge to get past Norway. So yeah, and going to Argentina, McAllister opened the scoring, and I think the story for Swiss has been, I think their attack has been lackluster this tournament, especially without Manzambi. Manzambi's been the spark for them in this tournament, especially going forward. As the game progressed, it seemed like Argentina was doing more and more control of this game as Switzerland was trying to grow, and the goal was coming. It comes through Ndoye, and a few minutes later, all of a sudden, big decision. Umbolo sent off second yellow for diving, and it's the correct decision. As these players, they've been explaining the rules about what VAR can review this tournament. Not covering your mouth, all these new rules changes that have been done and implemented in order to, with the intent of making the game better. And like I said, or not like I said, like I did say, Mbolo did deserve to be sent off. Again, it's stupid. It's a stupid moment from him. No other way to describe it. From then on, Argentina, they tried to push, but again, you still kind of looked about where the goal was coming from, and it took a spectacular error from Julian Alvarez, top of the box, one of the goals of the tournament. He needed that because he was having a poor World Cup, and Lautaro at the end grabs one more, and Argentina marched into the semifinal against England. Switzerland, not enough, but a good campaign for them to make it to quarterfinals. Breaking. I guess this is the farthest they ever finished, I believe, in the World Cup, or at least in the recent World Cups, to get to a World Cup quarterfinal. So a campaign to be proud of, and definitely something to build forward on with Manzambi and a couple other players young players in the team that, Switzerland always a solid team. But yeah, previewing Argentina, England. Again, on paper, I think England are the better team. This Argentina team still has too many problems. Again, questions about Scaloni in the lineup against Egypt, persisted with the same lineup against Switzerland, and invited a lot of Switzerland pressure into the game. And I think if Argentina rolled with this lineup, and especially with, I think, England's midfield, who I think are runners and are athletic, and this team that's been kind of too slow and I think a bit lethargic and can't really seem to pull away from teams, I think there'll be issues, and I think England can overrun them. And I don't think Argentina, in terms of their current setup, they don't have the players to stretch England. I don't think that's England's weakness per se, but I don't think Argentina can hurt England a lot on the counterattack. And I think England showed they can be very defensively organized and resistant a lot of moments when needed. Now, obviously, when you have Messi on your team, who knows what can happen? Obviously, but he is 39. We'll see. Like I said, with both Messi and Ronaldo, in all fairness, my doubt going into the tournament where how much can, if you're carrying a Messi, you're carrying a Ronaldo, or even if Brazil, if Neymar, if he was going to start, can you carry these older players in these games when you're up against a team like England who have quality all around the pitch and they're going to have no passengers? I'm not going to say Messi is a passenger, but with everything being so focal, with Messi being the clear focal point in this Argentine team and everything going through him, will that hurt them or will it elevate Argentina? Now, Argentina are going to make this a physical game. If it becomes a game where, the ball is not really in play a lot, it's a lot of just, the referees just taking over, cards are flying everywhere, I think Argentina will win. I'm going to be honest. That's the only way I think Argentina can win. But player for player, England have more quality. The problem with England, again, still persists is the wingers. Simply just not good enough. I know Gordon, I believe he got the assist for the first Bellingham goal. Madueke and this right hasn't been great. I thought Salah got a good cameo off the bench. But still questions about his fitness. But I think if England plays to their potential, I think they should have I'm not going to say straightforward one, but they should beat Argentina. Both these teams are really unable to pull away from their opponents. They're not teams that are going to thrash each other, so I don't see more than one goal in this one. This one can even go all the way to extra time, maybe even penalties, but I still would favor England. Penalties, I don't know. It's interesting because I think England have better takers, but against Emi Martinez, who I think is the best penalty keeper in the world. That'd be interesting. And as for Spain, France is going. Cycling back to that one, like I said, I think France at the end of the day, similar to Morocco, no matter how you slice it, star power matters in this tournament. It's historic, and when you have this front four, I mean, at least these three, up against these three. I know Yamal is an X factor here, but you take Yamal out of this way. At the end of the day, it's Mbappe versus Oyarzabal, Elise versus Olmo, Dembele versus Baena. I think France will just have too much for Spain in the end, and Spain still a lot of clinicality, but definitely will be a close game as well. But I do think France will do it. I think they will do it within 90 minutes as well. That's just my prediction. But yeah, other than that, I'm excited for the semifinals. Hopefully, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited to see what happens. World Cup finals this Sunday. I'm excited. I'm sad that it's over. These last 2 days without any football, it's been killing me. And then we got to wait a whole month before Prem and all that type of stuff starts up. And transfer rumors heating up. Like I said, I don't know what post World Cup contest is gonna look like. I guess I'll talk about that a little bit more once we get the action on the World Cup. But yeah, semifinals, and I'll see you soon. Later.